Welcome to Review Diesel, guys. This is our Stage 1 economy package for the LB7 Duramax. LB7s are probably my favorite Duramax. Yes, they're harder to work on when it comes to injectors. There's a few things about the engine design that do make them complicated to work on. But in the 20 years that I've been doing this and playing with diesel trucks and modifying them and souping them up, I've personally not seen an LB7 crack a piston, taco rods, break a crank, and then I've seen that on all the other platforms: LLY, LBZ, LMM, LML. The LB7 just seems to hold up really good. We built one when I was at Leadfoot Diesel. It was triple turboed. We don't even know what kind of horsepower that thing ever made. It would spike the dyno. We saw 1,200 horsepower out of it. We saw 1,600 horsepower out of it. It was just kind of a goofy setup that didn't dyno well, but at the end of the day, the LB7 is a very reliable Duramax platform if you're looking for a Duramax that you want to modify. And so the Stage 1 power pack, or the Stage 1 economy package, if you're going to go into it, a lot of times what happens on LB7s is the customer owns the truck, they keep it fairly stock, they don't really mess with it or modify it or do anything, and then the injectors fail. And now all of a sudden they do this deep dive and they find out that there's all this aftermarket stuff that can help the injectors last longer and blah, blah, blah. And so you kind of go down the rabbit hole as we do. And so my Stage 1 LB7 economy package is based off that. So if you own an LB7 and your injectors have failed, chances are your CP3 is not far behind it. I've seen that pattern play out over and over the years. Customer brings the truck in, we diagnose it, the injectors are bad. We slam a set of 8 injectors in it. I recommend an injection pump. They refuse it. There's nothing wrong with it. And then 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, all of a sudden they've got rail pressure issues, low rail pressure codes coming up, and we end up having to go back in and do an injection pump. So that's frustrating on a labor side of things because the injectors is already a very labor intensive job. I'm not going to say how many hours it takes because everybody's going to argue about it, and that's not what this is about. But you got shops that'll charge 10 hours to do injectors. You got shops that'll charge 4 hours to do injectors. At the end of the day, it's time consuming. And so to tear it apart, pay that big labor bill, and then have to go back 2 weeks later and pay a big labor bill on doing the CP3, it's just not good math. So we've lumped these high labor rate items together for you so that you're going to pay a one-time labor cost. So I would do the Fleece Performance drop-in turbo. It's their Cheetah turbo. It's a great turbo. No other modifications are needed to run it. You could run it on a bone stock truck, but it's going to grow with you as you do other upgrades. So I would do the CP3 upgrade that Fleece offers. They got 2 different ones: a mild upgrade CP3, which is going to work great for this economy package. Pair that with like a set of 50 to 75 horse injectors from Dynamite Diesel Performance. You're going to have a really good running setup. Duramaxes, when you start getting the bigger injectors, you do have to do custom tuning. These Stage 1 injectors, I don't think you're going to need custom tunes at all for them. They'll run just fine with like an Edge Evolution or something of that nature. So I would do the drop-in turbo, the Fleece Cheetah turbo, the Fleece CP3K. You're going to want to put a fast fuel system on there. That's the whole reason your CP3 and your injectors failed all to begin with, because Duramaxes are the only trucks from the factory that don't have a low pressure fuel pump. So we want to put a low pressure pump in to feed the CP3 so that it's not having to pull its own supply and pressurize and feed 8 injectors. It's just a lot of stress on that pump. So we're going to do a fast. I do highly recommend doing the Fleece Sure Flow sending unit. It's just going to ensure that you never have any quarter tank issues. Duramaxes don't typically have those issues, but if you want to ensure that you don't have any quarter tank issues, if you're not comfortable putting a sump in your truck, do the Fleece Sure Flow sending unit with that fast upgrade. And then I would do a cold air intake. Not a huge advocate of them, but they do work. They help. I have them on all my personal trucks, mainly just because they're easier to service. The factory air filters on these diesels are very, very restrictive, whether you got a 7.3, 6.0, LB7, LLY. The factory filters are just super restrictive. They're a pain in the butt to get to. You can't see them. You get a clear lid S&B cold air intake like this. You can see when that red filter starts turning black. It's a good indication to clean it, versus a filter that you can't see is going to get neglected. So for no other reason than service and maintenance, get an S&B air intake on the truck. And the LB7s suffer from a very, very restricted downpipe, as do the LOYs and the LBZs. So I would do a 4-inch MBRP up pipe or a downpipe while you're in there. And then, like I stated before, you can run like an Edge Evolution tuner on the truck. It's going to make those injectors work to the best of their ability. And, you know, that's going to make a good all-around setup. So you got turbo injectors, CP3, fast, fuel sending unit, cold air intake, and the Edge Evolution programmer. That truck will run forever like that. You're going to make 450 horsepower. Stock transmission will hold up to level 3 on the Edge Evolution tuner. If you want to play with the higher power levels 4 and 5, you're going to have to do a transmission build. I didn't include that in the stage 1 package because that's not what the stage 1 package is all about. Stage 1 package is about fuel economy, and you're going to get really good fuel economy on level 3 with the Edge Evolution, driving normal, driving modestly, and all of these upgrades, the fast, the injectors, the turbos, the CP3K, better fuel atomizations going to equal better fuel economy and much better performance. So for guys that are just weekend warriors, driving your truck to and from the office, towing a trailer a couple times a year, taking the wife and kids camping, this is the package for you. Stay tuned for our stage 2 workhorse package for the LB7 Duramax. That's where we're going to get into some transmission upgrades and clutch upgrades if you got lucky enough to buy a manual. Until then, like, subscribe, hit the little bell, make sure you're getting notified whenever we drop a new video. If you've got questions, comments, or suggestions, throw them in the comments below and we'd love to address them for you. Thanks for stopping by.